Breaking news. A new internet sensation is sweeping the nation.
And it goes like
Pen, pineapple, apple, pen.
We had to count there.
There you go.
Don't. I don't know how the music goes.
I have a pen.
I have an apple.
Apple pen. I have a pen. I have pineapple. Pineapple pen.
Now, I don't know if this is a big thing and other people are noticing it, but it is starting to become relevant other than on YouTube, from what I know. And I've seen it in a couple vines, and I've seen it referenced by a couple people on Twitter. And I don't know if this is going to be something big or not, but it seems promising.
Now, many people question what it's about, and so we read a few things about it, and basically it is it's a comedy skit by this South Korean comedian, I believe he's South Korean, and it's a character that he made while doing stand-up, and the character really took off, I guess, when he would do stand-up, and so he decided to make a video about it, and people apparently are really loving it because I cannot seem to get away from it, which is so lovely.
Wow. Well, this is only the second day that I've known about it, but I do see it growing, and I'm all like, whoa, that's crazy.
I'd say the video on YouTube probably gets, like at least 1 million views a day. But I'm sure that's increasing with the more people that see it, the more people they tell about it. That's so good. They're like, oh, wow, this video is so funny, it's so good. Kind of like what you guys should be doing with our videos, you know what I mean?
And if you haven't seen the Pen Pineapple Apple Pen, you're probably very confused by what has been going on so far. We'll probably have a link to it somewhere, probably at the end of the video.
Probably on my face. Because that's kind of where it ends up going.
Yep. Now, did we have another... Oh, we did have another topic. Oh,
what's that supposed to mean, Chris?
Segue.
Wow, that was done quite well.
As you guys know that from our recent week, we had some trouble getting one of the videos up, and it was a day late. It wasn't a big deal, but we really felt bad for that because like it's not even like one of our bigger kind of things. It's just like our gameplay stuff, and I guess our gameplay stuff isn't as popular because we don't promote it as much. But like it was a day late, and it was kind of like oh no, that kind of stuff. We just kind of we're young and we're fresh and we're new to YouTube, and we're trying to prevent like situations where our content isn't going out as frequently as we would like it to. And like that was a really big like scare moment for both of us. Like, oh no, it's not ready. The video's not gonna be up today. Oh no, because we had lost some footage. We lost some footage of us playing Firewatch. I don't know how, but maybe it didn't record. Maybe it didn't just like go onto a thing. It didn't save, but it just was gone, and we were devastated. I cried at least for 3 hours. I'm just saying.
Chris, be honest with yourself. It was not 3 hours.
Well, it's more like 3.5,
exactly.
Maybe 5.
Exactly. Only a man could cry for 3 hours.
But yeah, like it was pretty scary to me.
Overall, I mean, it wasn't as traumatic in the end as it felt in the beginning. Because in the beginning, it was I don't know. It was kind of like this was our first video that we had to miss. It was the first time we had messed up the schedule, and I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to really deal with something like that because I mean, we couldn't really go back and redo everything because we had already saved at the next point.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
we were particularly I don't know where I was going with this. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm waiting. I'm thinking. Hold on. I don't know. We don't have like a schedule. We don't have a set schedule, but we do tend to release the gameplay footages on Mondays, and so we were just kind of like, whoa, that's a thing that we didn't get done as fast as we could, but we did end up getting it done. We ended up getting some game footage. Don't tell anybody, but we... Shit. Oh, no.
Chris, keep your mouth quiet.
It's top secret.
No, we can't tell them that. That's a secret, Chris.
We didn't steal it.
Chris, it was thievery. We're going to get killed by the NS of A.
No!
No, Chris. Shh. Stop. Close your mouth. No.
I
No.
I'm not
Chris,
saying
I
anything.
swear to the flying spaghetti monster, Chris, I will take your mouth and I will put it. I'll shut it. Yeah.
That is no longer a religion, Nick. It's no longer a religion that is supported by the government.
Yeah, very true. I don't know if you guys knew this, but years ago, back in like 2008, this guy he fought the Supreme Court over recognizing his religion, the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and he basically did this so that he could wear a colander on his head for his driver's license, which I thought was hilarious because I think that's it's truly inspirational. But
Mhm.
just recently, the Supreme Court has repealed that decision and declared, and so it's no longer a recognized religion. So anybody who wants to take a picture with a colander on their head, sorry.
It's very sad and dark day for America's history books.
That was my plan, was to take a picture with a colander on my head because I read somewhere that if you have a bad driver's license photo, you're less likely to get a ticket.
Mhm.
So I was a little disappointed when I had no colander picture. So yeah, there's that. But in other news, we are now at something like 41 subscribers, which is pretty radical.
Oh my gosh!
Chris, it's not that big of a deal.
This is a lot. That's pretty good for me. We have people subscribing to the channel who we don't personally know.
Which is honestly kind of surprising because it
Mhm.
feels like we are not very entertaining. I mean, if you just look at what we've been saying for the past however long this has been.
Just like when you think about stuff, you think about us and you think about what we're doing. I wouldn't I wouldn't be all like, "Oh wow, this is a great channel, blah blah blah." But like I very much do appreciate all the people that have subscribed. And maybe it's just because it's coming from us. We don't particularly find ourselves entertaining just by ourselves. Hold on.
Chris,
I'll be right back.
Chris, be careful. It's a danger zone out there. Sorry about that, guys. Our studio was being interrupted by a couple of kids who were doing some early trick-or-treating. They walked up to the door and they said, "Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat, or we'll kill your mom. You'll die on the floor bleeding." And so we were like, "Hey, kids, you can't do that. You can't kill our moms." And so we had to scare them off by basically telling them that that their moms would die if they killed our moms. So that worked.
I wish I knew what you said, Nick, but unfortunately I was out of the room.
You were stopping those kids who tried to kill our moms, Chris.
Oh, good idea on telling them what I was doing. Getting back to our set topic. Did we have a set topic for this podcast?
Chris, we are the most prepared people on earth. Of course we had a set topic.
Very true. Our set topic was you know, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
we were gonna talk about what we were doing. So what we're doing is we're involved in the school play, which is going to be available when, Nick? Do you know?
October 28th, I believe.
Not just that day, but the weekend of that week. Does that make sense? So Friday, Saturday. No, wait. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That'll be available for you to go see if you're in the Fresno area, and you're also near Hoover High.
We don't live in Fresno, that's a lie. We live in Santa Monica.
Nick, one day they're gonna find out.
But Chris, what happens?
They'll find out. They'll come here, and then they'll get stabbed and then die.
I swear they're gonna kill us. I swear.
I don't understand why Fresno is like considered to be so bad. I mean, like, it can be bad, but only in particular areas. And I guess we don't live in the worst area of Fresno, so that makes sense. But just putting that out there, like, Fresno's not as bad as you think. Like, you can come here, you can walk around for a little bit. It'll only take like 12 hours for you to get jumped.
I mean, 12 hours. That's pretty short time, Chris.
I mean, what are you doing walking outside for 12 hours?
No, I feel like that's with most towns. I mean, most towns get a bad reputation, but then they're not as bad as people say they are. Although I'm pretty sure some towns are just as bad as people say they are. Detroit,
I'm
Stockton.
definitely moving to Chicago.
Well, I mean, I have a coworker that is from Chicago, and you can just get like these massive pieces of pizza. Like you can get one slice of pizza, and it's just massive, like massive piece of pizza, probably like the size of your head, right?
Insert innuendo. Here.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ow. So, anyway, Chris, I have a question for you. What
Mhm.
are your favorite toppings on pizza?
I can't. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely like pepperoni. That's no secret here. But um, I gotta say I do like pineapple pizza, like pineapple and ham. I can have that kind of
Ew, you
pizza,
are literally Satan, Chris.
but I can't have it on everything. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. I don't like olives and I don't like mushrooms, so it's kind of limiting it. But I could also have bananas on my pizza. Could also have peanut butter on my pizza. So of my top three that aren't the regular ones, there'd be bananas, peanut butter, and pineapple. I think a sweet pizza can be sweet. That's just my opinion.
Well, I think that pizza is I don't know. I am not very picky, but when it comes to pizza, well, actually no, pardon me. I'm very picky when it comes to pizza. I like basic pizza, you know, just
Mhm.
pepperoni or like cheese or like just basic stuff. I don't think it needs a whole lot of toppings, but I am a big fan of supreme pizzas. Although I'm not really a big fan of mushrooms because I feel like they don't really add much flavor. They're kind of just there.
Yeah.
But just get like a nice pepperoni
Mhm.
with three different kinds of cheese, some sausage on there, and some bell pepper, and like some red bell pepper, and just like I don't know, maybe a few other things. And it's so good, Chris. Pizza is literally the best food on earth.
I've been oversaturated with pizza for the past couple years, and
Past couple of years.
yeah, I can't say that it's a bad thing, but the fact that I have pizza at least once a week is a problem because pizza's cheap, and you can go to Little Caesars, $5, get a pizza, you can feed your family, and that's what I like to do. I like to feed my own family with a $5 pizza, hot and ready, not sponsored.
Chris, you don't have a family. You have like four kids.
I don't
Shut
have
up.
$5.
Oh, damn, that's true. No, I think that yeah, you can get too many things in pizza, but it used to be it used to not be that way.
My history on pizza. Pizza didn't always used to be like the
Back
pizza we are today.
back in my day, pizza used to be just standard pepperoni and cheese and crack cocaine and just
Oh, all the normal stuff
yeah,
that
and like
us
some hooker fingernails, basic things.
uh welp.
No, actually though, pizza like real Italiano pizza, yeah, real Italian pizza has more of like a cracker crust. It's much thinner, and it is not as robust
Mhm.
as American pizza is. And the original pizzas actually had a white sauce instead of a red sauce because tomatoes are from North America, my dude. And so all think of all the Italian foods and then think of like tomatoes and stuff. Tomatoes are from the New World. So originally all that stuff had to have white sauce instead of marinara or other red sauces.
I would very much appreciate if someone who actually knows more about pizza than Nick would fact check him on every single word that he said and tell us about it in the
No, that
comments.
has nothing to do with pizza facts. It just has to do with history, Chris.
Well, tell us if he's right. I I'd appreciate it.
Hey man, if I'm not right, I'll fight you.
Dude, um I want to say we've been having some very good like we had a good amount of views on the vlog that we did the other day.
Well, yeah, I think our view number has been well, I think it's been nice. We've had a good number of views on most of
Mhm.
our videos, but I feel like our watch time isn't very high. I feel like people kind of get bored with us because we talk in monotone voices and we never do anything fun.
Why are we listening to them?
I don't know, Chris, would you listen to our podcast?
Probably. I like podcasts.
Yeah, podcasts are a nice thing. You're just sitting there, just hanging out, bored, and you're like, man, I wish I could have a conversation with completely strangers, and then maybe have some fun with that. But no, because I don't listen to people's podcasts, and I don't like talking to other people because I'm a social anthropist. A social
Oh.
anthropist?
It's a lot harder to work with podcasts versus video because podcasts it's just the sound, and you got to try and make the sound good, and then you got to make the pauses and the other stuff like shorter so that people won't just like listen to it and be all like, why are they so quiet? Why aren't they talking? So there's like a difference between video and podcast. You can make an awkward silence in video funny, whereas if it just happens in a podcast, it's just kind of like, what's happening? What's happening? I don't know what's happening. Oh no, my podcast's broken. Oh no. Oh no, my and then you freak out and then you die because you just freaked out. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
Yeah, but the thing with podcasts and silences, it's super awkward because people are like, "Oh, like did their mics break or something?" Or I don't know what's going on.
Hmm.
And a good example of this is actually goes back to the 30s. Franklin Delano,
Delano.
Delano, Franklin
Delano.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt was running for president, and he was doing a radio debate with his other person. And well, no, it wasn't a debate. It was just like statements and stuff. And so he got 3 minutes, and then the other guy got 3 minutes. And so no, that's not how it worked. They each got like 40 minutes or something to speak. I don't know. They got a certain
They
amount of
got
time.
time.
Yeah, they got enough time. And so FDR had to go first because he, lost the coin toss or whatever. And so he went first. And then for the last 3 minutes of his speaking time, he just sat there quietly.
He was an expert on the radio, and he was also an expert on what was happening then and there.
See, and here, why don't we give you an example?
I'm Chris, and I like to talk about things. My favorite color is orange. My height, I'm very short. My hair is blonde.
Chris, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing. I was
I was
giving
gonna
you an
give a
example.
47-minute speech and then wait for 3 minutes, and then just have it be quiet.
No, Chris, we don't have time for a 47-minute speech.
Well, why didn't you tell me, Nick?
Because I thought you would understand.
Dang it, Nick. What are you doing?
Okay, so basically FDR gave a speech for like 40 minutes, and then for the last 3 minutes, he sat quietly. And so listeners at home...
Wait, you want us to sit here quietly
No,
for
Chris,
3
shut
minutes?
up. I want
Everyone's
you
gonna
to sit
leave.
quietly. Be quiet.
Nick, I'm hurt.
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean that.
don't touch
No,
me.
come back. Chris, I'll even let you comb my hair.
You never take care of me.
What do you
I'm
mean?
sick.
What do you mean you're sick?
My leg's broken.
What? Chris, how'd you
beat me
how'd you break your
late
leg?
at night.
Chris,
You broke my leg.
Chris, that was an accident.
You beat me.
Chris, calm down. Take a seat. Take a seat. Sit right on my
I'll
hand.
sit down. Don't touch me.
Okay, I won't touch you. Okay.
I don't want to talk to you.
But FDR gave a speech for 40 minutes, and then he sat quietly for the last 3 minutes. And so all the listeners back home thought that the radio station had gone out, and so they turned off their radios and went and played outside without even listening to Roosevelt's competition. So there's a little fun fact. It's a pretty smart thing to do. And 3 minutes is a long time to sit there quietly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you imagine just like sitting there, like being a presidential nominee and just being like,
Stop looking at me.
see, that was like maybe 8 seconds, and that felt really long. Imagine 3 minutes of just sitting silently. And like, imagine the people that were on the other side of the booth just watching him, like, what's he
He's
doing?
like, what's he doing?
Can he do that?
Hey,
What? What's going on?
hey, man.
Hey,
You
whoa.
see that guy? He's quiet.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah. This is just a fun history thing that you guys didn't know. Thought you would enjoy that little diddly do.
Doodly did. Yeah. Oh, should we mention the things that we're planning for our podcast in October?
I don't know. I don't think they'll be very interested.
We can mention it here, we can mention it in the next podcast, and then we can mention it in the podcast after that, and then when it actually comes out, it'll happen.
Chris, that's a lot of advertising.
Well, I mean, self-advertisement is good. I've seen everyone do it.
Hey guys, we're gonna do some quick self-advertisement here. I just wanted to let you know that I have washboard abs, and that you're free to look at them for any time. YouTube has monetized my abs because they're so good to look at. They get over 100 views every second, And so I just like to let you guys know that if you want to look at my abs, you have to pay YouTube money. Okay.
We were thinking about doing for Halloween a Halloween radio play of sorts, and have that appear on the Drought&Proud.
We were thinking maybe for an episode of our podcast, we could bring you a nice
Spoopy news.
spooky presentation that would scare your pants off, literally.
And I think that'd be very fitting for the month of October.
Yeah. I figure I think we should do one each week. I think that would be nice. I think so. For the month of October, we're just gonna have spooky podcasts.
Like Halloween themed, yeah. I think, oh, we haven't really discussed this all the way through, but that was just our plan for the month of October.
Yeah, so you guys can look out for that and be super excited and be like, "Oh wow, this is so spoopy."
You can watch our podcast like, ah!
I would suggest you guys definitely be careful though, because we have a tendency to be quite ghoulish. Oh, Chris, you really need to get that checked out, man. You have
It's-
like a larynx broken.
I literally just have a cough.
Chris, that's not what a cough sounds like. I know what a cough sounds like. Chris, a cough is more like.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now let me hear you cough.
I'm not gonna do that.
Chris, cough.
No.
Chris, now go.
No.
Do that for me, please.
No.
Chris, why not?
Because, Nick, that's sexual abuse.
Chris, you don't even know what it is, okay? So why don't you just stop having your own opinion and just use the one that I give you?
I'm sick of you treating me like I'm an object. I'm gonna leave eventually. I
Chris.
say it so often. I was about to do it 5 minutes ago, but this time I'm serious.
I wouldn't objectify you if you didn't wear such hoey clothes, Chris.
I'm wearing a t-shirt and a pair of slacks.
Yeah, a t-shirt and a pair of slacks, Chris. I can see your ankles, gosh dang it.
Don't talk about my ankles. There's one small space between my shoe and my pants.
You need to cover up your ankles, otherwise you might distract the other students, okay?
You know, it'd be really like, I don't know. It would be super edgy if you were able to get your sock. Idea. You get your socks, cut a hole right where the ankles are, then show your ankles everywhere. That was my idea.
See,
They'll be called whore socks.
oh, that's a little extreme, Chris. I don't know if everybody would want to see your ankles.
Wait, what's wrong with my ankles?
Well, Chris, your ankles are quite. What's the word? It's like think Pokemon. No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Chris, who's the main character of Pokemon?
Ash?
No, it's Charizard.
Oh,
Your ankles are Charizardy. You have very Charizardy ankles. You
How
need
could I
some
be
lotion.
so stupid? Oh my gosh.
Chris, did you even grow up? Were you ever a kid?
I was. Were you ever a '90s kid? It's like, yeah, for 6 months.
Chris, you don't you. You make me so angry.
That bothers me so much when I see like kids on Facebook who are all like hashtag '90s kid, grew up in the '90s, but like they were born in 1999, and you're just like, stop it. I think just like the '90s kid posts in general kind of get me mad because it's like, what's the point in saying this?
But
I ain't
Chris,
seen people do that before.
Think about it though. The 90s continued on until like 2006. Like the 90s didn't end until like 2006.
I'd say around 2003, 2004.
I don't know, man, because I remember watching like Cat Dog and stuff back in like 2006.
Just because they have reruns of shows doesn't mean that the show is going on and it's still that time. Did you know that in 2018 they plan to stop making Adventure Time?
What's Adventure Time, Chris?
Adventure Time is a mainstream cartoon show that is on Cartoon Network, and it's about a young boy who has been growing up in the land of Ooo, and his dog named Jake, and they have to fight all the evil things, and Finn has to become a hero. The young boy's name is Finn.
But, Chris, why would they be a hero if he's a young boy? Children should not be playing with swords, because how do you think children get their eyes stabbed out, Chris? Not from adults stabbing them, but from other children.
Oh.
Swords are dangerous. Okay, I don't care what the 1892 amendment says, okay? Swords are a danger to people, and even if they're cool and fun, you know, you cannot have swords, all right? Military-grade swords should not be in the hands of little children, Chris.
That's where I disagree with you, Nick. I'm gonna have to say that little children can have swords, and they can go around with swords because swords protect us.
Chris, sword violence is the leading cause of death for African American males between 18 and 21. Did you know that?
I was well aware of this, yes.
Okay? I'm tired of this, Chris.
Now, I'll say something about the city of Chicago. There have been more sword-related crimes in the past about year or so, but I'll tell you this. The amount of crime in Chicago has gone up since this has been happening, and it continues to rise because swords have become more and more popular in Chicago. Why? Because we allow it to happen. We need to take these swords and give them and give them to the people so they can continue to protect themselves from the other people with swords.
See, I believe that when people buy swords, they need to be properly trained and they need to meet a certain number of criteria, in order to own the sword, and they need to be able to prove that they can keep the sword out of the hands of young children, all right? And I think that swords should have some sort of special, I don't know, like tracker on them or something. I know that's silly, but I don't know, just some way to make it so that criminals are not able to get swords so easily. And I know I've heard a lot of different plans on this. I've heard that just by banning swords altogether, it raises the price of swords on the black market, and so less criminals are able to purchase them because they don't have enough money for swords. But
Hmm.
I feel like the problem with that is that so many people already have swords.
Hmm.
It would just be against their 1890 amendment.
Now, let me say,
the right to bear
oh, hold
swords.
on, let me just, okay. Um, I don't disagree with you on the fact that we should be able to have a little bit more sword control, but I would like to say this. The people in the land of Oo are protected by Finn, the police force, because he goes around and he does do his job and protects all the princesses from the evil people, the wizards and such. And how are we supposed to defend against the evils of Oo without weapons? You just
I
can't.
feel
You
that.
just can't do it. Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just can't do it.
Wrong.
uh,
No, I like that.
references.
I think that it is very true that swords are definitely an important part of American culture
Hmm.
because, I don't know. It's not like there's a fear that we're going to be invaded by some other country and we're just not going to have swords. But I think that it's just one of the great things about living in the U.S. is that you are able to own a sword legally, and I personally enjoy that. I've played with
Hmm.
swords before, and I think they're very fun to use in a fun environment. And I think that if you use them
I mean,
correctly, they're very safe. I
you
don't
you
think that they're unsafe. They're not going to explode in your face or anything unless you use them incorrectly.
Nick, you and I, we grew up with swords. That was our main source of entertainment when we grew up, right?
Yes. Yes, it was because we would always play with the swords.
We'd always throw knives. We'd always fight with swords. And look at us. Now we're grade A ninjas.
Well, see, I remember when we were kids, we'd always use sticks that were the similar shape of swords, and we would play with those as kids.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Here, why don't we look at it this way? If the USA was ever to get invaded, so many people would have swords that, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Red Dawn, but pretty much it would be like Red Dawn, but across the entire country because everybody has swords.
Hmm.
I mean, oh, maybe not in like, I don't know, Washington or Oregon. Less people have swords there probably.
Oh.
I like all those very liberal. Chris, I told you that you need to get yourself checked out. You're obviously dying.
Are you checking me out?
Got that right, baby boy. Well,
Well,
I
hmm
think I've said everything I want to about swords.
hmm I'm done.
Do you have any closing statements about anything?
Well, you see, America has been rampaged with swords.
Wrong. You signed the deal. I did not
Where,
say that.
where did you? Excuse me.
That's not true.
Where did you
That's
find
not
that?
True. That's not true. Excuse me, Mr. Holsworth, your 2 minutes is up. Wrong.
No.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Let me retort. Well, Mr. Chris, I must say that your plans for sword control are stupid. You're trying to take away the 1890 amendment, Chris.
No, that is wrong. I was for the 1899 amendment.
Oh damn! Wait. If that's you, then who am I?
You're Jackson.
Aw, Chris, I can't take this anymore. I'm gone. I'll see you later, man.
Uh, wait. Now what?
Okay, bye, Chris.
Wait, Nick, you leaving?
Well, yeah.
Quitting Drought and Proud?
No, I'm not quitting Drought and Proud. Chris,
Nick!
I live here. I was born in the Drought and Proud streets. I haven't seen a rain
Goodbye,
since I was
Nick.
a man.
I'll miss you.
Oh, no.
I feel like this is about time to end the podcast, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess.
It's gone long.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
a big, I don't know. I hope that you guys listen all the way through and you listen to this part because I feel like we're super entertaining right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're super entertaining throughout the whole thing. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Wink. Bye, guys.
Bye.